Nationals. We are into the ban phase. Good luck. Have fun. Let's get started for what should be an amazing season, guys.
Time now, these teams have had a significant period in the off-season to bring some stuff to the table, and one thing we haven't actually mentioned yet is the fact that these teams will be playing on Shadow Legacy, the newest update in the game, and that has introduced an almost countless number of changes to the game. You've got balancing changes, you've got ping 2.0, new sites, the list goes on. We could probably spend 3 hours talking about the changes instead of actually casting these matches. So I'm super excited to see how those play out. Capitao and Mav, though, on Clubhouse, that's what we've come to expect.
I mean, there's another show that I know of called The Reload where we can do just that, really.
Yes.
One thing that's going to be, of course, really intriguing throughout this season is Thatcher. We haven't seen it banned out here, and I think that ban rate that we saw in Six Masters is not going to be replicated for Oceanic Nationals.
Yep. Maestro. I can see what this second ban is going to be. I'm anticipating it might be some sort of hard breach denial on the wall because Thatcher has actually made it through this ban phase, and boom, there we go. Kaid on the board, which is a pretty standard ban for Okami looking back at their history. In fact, the most recent time they played this map, which was against the Pittsburgh Knights in the OCE Major, they banned out both Cap and Kaid. Unfortunately for them, they did actually lose that map. In fact, they lost the series. So Okami actually heading into tonight, not with the greatest of form.
I mean, you don't need form, though, when it's just the first match of Oceanic
It's all luck.
Nationals.
It's all luck, Xenox. Don't you
It's
understand?
all luck.
Yeah, 100%.
It's best of one. What do you mean, guys? It's best of
No
one.
skill.
You're just going to get lucky.
No skill.
CCTV Cash is where we're going to be first heading for our first round. Obviously, we are going to just have to wait a little bit longer before we can get in, unfortunately, such is our lives, guys. We're just so anticipating and hyped to get into it, and we're just going to come back to us. We apologize.
You know what it really is? I actually forgot to install the button that actually lets us start the game, because we have, if you guys don't know at home, we actually have to press a big green button to start the game, and mine isn't working properly, so we're just getting Xenox's fixed.
I already pressed mine.
Oh, you pressed it. Oh, so do we have to press it?
I already
at the same
pressed
time?
it.
Do we not press it at the same time? Is that what happened?
Apparently not. Apparently, it's like one of those keys from the movies.
Oh, no,
I guess, where you got to turn it at the same time. Oh, I just pressed it.
I pressed it at the same time. See, that's cast.
Oh, look at that.
That cast of synergy is just at a whole new level. Or maybe not. Maybe it's not, because there is a player that's not in the lobby. So we pressed the wrong button.
Oh, no, we're back again.
We actually kicked a player from the lobby by mistake. So that's our bad.
There's too many buttons. I've got one on my left side, one on my right side. Obviously, picked the wrong one.
Yeah.
What a start, though.
Yeah.
Everyone's just ready to go. It's like you sit down, you got your hot dog, you got your popcorn, you're ready to go, and it's like 10 minutes of ads.
That's right. You get to see our beautiful faces for a little bit longer. So, I mean, if that's all you're here for, which it probably isn't, then you'll be satisfied for at least a couple more minutes.
Look, heading into Clubhouse, though, we can speak a little bit more, of course, about predictions here. I want to just sort of dive deeper into how close this could end up being, because, you know, you mentioned that you think Okami all the way. I probably agree with that. And for Rhythm X Kanga in Six Masters, a lot of their results, you know, left a lot to be desired. 7-3s and 7-4s, for instance. And I got to say, I think going into this as well, if they don't get off to a good start, it could snowball really badly for them for Rhythm into Okami's favor. 7-2, 7-3 could be the case here.
Yeah, I mean, before we flew into the map, I did meme a little bit Okami 7-0, but if Okami do get the first few rounds on the board and gain that confidence and momentum, particularly being a team that does rely on that. I mean, you have Ippy and Specker, for example, who when they're on point, they're near impossible sometimes to shut down. So if Rhythm get off to a bad start, it will snowball, I believe, as you sort of are anticipating. But on the flip side, if Rhythm can somehow come out of the gates and get a round or two, even if it's just 1 or 2 in the first half, then it could be on for the second.
Do you think Specker might take some time to adjust? And I guess that can even also go for the new guys of Rhythm.
I mean, for sure. You can never just slide into a squad and be on from the start. I mean, even the best teams at OCE have struggled with that in the past. If you flash back to Wildcard, for example, when they introduced 2 new members to that squad, they in fact had a pretty poor season in Pro League Season 11 before they really started to get ingrained into that roster. Yes, at least on the side of Okami, it's a little bit lesser of an interference being only the one player, and the fact that Specker does also have a lot of past experience, but it still takes time. And with it being quick fire best of ones, I mean, before you even think the game started, it's almost over to an extent. So Specker really needs to make sure that he's taking these opportunities with two hands and really trying to learn as much as possible in the short time frame that he has, on top of dealing with the pressure that he can't be learning forever, because Okami need to be aiming sort of for that top 6 and then the top 3 for the major.
I think for Akami's sake, this season, top 6 would be selling themselves a little bit short, right? I think top 4, top 3 is the main goal for them by the complete end of it. But I think even just for the regular season, they really, if they want to be really hype themselves, even second place can be a realistic achievement for them. I think it'll just come down to those sort of really 50-50 close ones against the likes of Noble, for instance. So whether they're able to win those best of ones, and this is sort of going to be the problem for this season for a lot of teams. And I think Rhythm is actually the opposite though to this, where I think the best of ones may actually help them out a bit, where they can maybe snatch one and just have a really good game without having to then worry about it being either a best of 2 or a best of 3 impacting the result. So they picked up they only picked up one map though for all of 6 Masters, so it does make it hard to sort of buy into that theory. But new roster, best of ones can play on the mentality.
Yeah, that's exactly right. On top of the best of 1 format as well, you can only imagine that their mentality heading into this season is a little bit of what have we got to lose? And we've seen it time and time again in Siege internationally. The teams that often have the least to lose and just throw everything they have at it and don't overthink things can actually perform quite well. Do I think Rhythm have what it takes maybe to take down some of these better teams like Okami, Wildcard, the Knights, etc.? Maybe not. But as you work your way down the table, you've got Elevate, even Noble, who dropped off form as well.
Ferox.
Exactly, Ferox. You could definitely see them snatching up, or I could definitely see them snatching a map off them if their day goes the way they want, or the way they would like, at least.
Well, it's not even the day. It's just really that one game, that 1 hour that it all
yes.
comes down to, right? And look, it's been a big topic point going into Oceanic Nationals, best of 1 versus best of 2. And I think it definitely will remain so for the remainder of the season. Like at some point along this season, a team's going to come out and say, yeah, we had a really bad game, but we felt really good. If we had this as a best of 2 or best of 3, we would have gone on and won, the rest of the quote series. But you just can't rely on that, right? So you've got to bring out all the stops in the opening game and certainly back yourselves in there. And I think also having a strong map pool is going to be very important, because you can then have the ability to, because you've got more bans now and there's going to be more bans against you, you've got to be able to play just about anything that can fall your way.
Yeah, that's exactly right, because of course last season was the best of 2 format, and that sort of generated its own interesting results, not only in the veto, but then as they played out themselves. Best of 1 is a throwback to what we've seen more traditionally in some of the other regions, like EU, for example. So the format itself isn't necessarily wild in that respect, but these teams haven't really been playing under it for as long as I can remember, because even harping back to the Pro League days, that was 2 best of 1s. So you'd actually verse the team twice in 2 separate best of 1 vetoes, but at least you'd be able to try and gain some momentum and carry that into the second match of the night, whereas you can't fall back on that in this Oceanic Nationals format.
How important is it though for Rhythm to get off to a good start tonight? What would actually, even better question, be a good start for them? Because I don't think a win is likely. So if they can make it, say, close, and it's 7-5 and it's a close game and the rounds are close, is that considered like an honorable loss in a way for them?
Yeah, I think anything more than a 7-2, 7-3, provided that the majority...
Anything more than a 7-2?
Hey, asterisk, provided that the rounds are decently close and competitive, I think is an okay result, because Rhythm, again, just looking through their results, there is a lot of red, and red means bad because they lost. There's a lot of losses. Yeah. This is harping back to Pro League, 6 Masters 2020. The results aren't great. They'll be trying to take anything they can. Anything that is a win will be absolutely coveted, but anything less than that, provided that, again, the rounds are close and at least they're taking something away from them, can be at least some sort of consolation.
To be fair, they don't have Spruce anymore, so there's already a step in the right direction. I thought he would join us on this side of the desk. Apparently that didn't happen, so it feels bad.
Thankfully.
Thankfully. Guz is just super toxic tonight, but I want nothing but the best for Rhythm, and really I almost feel bad because there has to be a team that finishes last, right? Someone has got to finish last, and the team with, in the case of Rhythm, almost the most roster changes, the worst result in 6 Masters. Everything just seems like it's piled on them. That's like, yeah, they're the easy targets. They're the ones who are going to finish last, and everyone's going to beat up on them. But at some point throughout the season, they are going to have to find a win. You would think, especially in this best of 1 format. And I think there are a couple of vulnerable teams. So will they do as bad as 6 Masters? It's hard to say, because there's really factors on both sides. You can say, well, they're less experienced, they've had roster changes, they're not going to be as stable. But on the flip side, new blood, fresh faces, you know, no longer part of the organization, so they got a new banner. That you can really flip a coin for them, and guess what, guys? It could go either way.
I thought we were going to go a full night without you saying that, Xenox, but
had to get it in.
You
there.
had
to get it in.
I mean, that's what happens during rehost. Casters go insane, and Xenox.
I'm just waiting for you to press the button. I'm just waiting for you to stop talking.
I pressed it. Didn't you press it? We got to press it at the same time, Xenox. Well, look, my button's just warming up, all right? So we just have to wait a little bit longer.
No. You just want to keep talking. You just want to keep listening.
I do a little bit, but there's some gameplay over it would probably be nice. Because I just noticed my hair is a little bit out of whack, and it's really, really annoying me. I thought you were the one that played with your hair all the time. Oh, here we go.
Game. We're in.
Yes.
We've made it. Clubhouse. We go. Rhythm are going to be attacking. Okami will be defending. Let's finally get underway for our first game of the night. Best of 1, of course, as a reminder, and I may just sort of repeat that a few times tonight, so bear with me, because maybe some people have only just tuned in, but best of 1, so everything riding on this one map of Clubhouse.
5 seconds to insertion.
Exactly right. Been a little bit of
Attackers must locate
sort of
and
downward
defuse a bomb.
trend, I guess, of anticipation potentially for these teams. They would have been ready and raring to go, but unfortunately, you know, things happen. So the teams just would have had to chill out for a little bit, and maybe some of that anticipation has worn away. But now it is time, really, to focus in. As we're going to keep harping on, there's no room for error at all in this season. It's a short season. It's a best of 1 season. And particularly when you're versing teams, at least if you're in the Okami camp, teams that you should be beating, you really have to be. As we're going to see Ace in play for the first time ever in Oceania, and that is a very clean breach.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Good pick up. I wasn't even looking at that. I was too busy looking at some of these names. No, Nevaix. You got Ippy Jack Dad. I love it. Awesome. Also, the new HUD that we've got since we last had 6 Masters. Everything just looks clean, fresh, and new. Bouncing just taking a look through Kennel's walls, and we are going to find our opening frag of this season for Oceanic Nationals, such as Rainbow, though. The quick refrag immediately from boats.
4 and 4. Rhythm have at least gotten the main breach open as well as Garage. Those are 2 key points that really do need to be taken and to try and put some pressure on Okami and cut off their potential to rotate. Keep in mind, though, that mirror pick from Cutie could be throwing off the attack a little bit. Often we don't see mirror played, or at least banned in most scenarios. So Rhythm might need to go below to clear this, but Specker is roaming there, so they need to be mindful. Ippy Style will have his head taken off, though.
Just wonder if attacking is going to pay dividends for Rhythm here. Just get into a bit of a rhythm, I guess you could say.
Oh, jeez. We're only in the first round, Xenox, and you
I
pulled
had
that one out. Oh,
I had to.
wow.
It was sitting there just staring me in the face. But no, look, good start so far. 2-1 in favor of Rhythm, and they can start to push in to CCTV. Bouncing still just watching Kennels.
Another wall that they're trying to get open. Mute Jammer will temporarily disable that. There's no Vegas is there to cover. There are potential C4 holes that they could be lobbed from, but are being watched intently as that timer continues now to tick down. Only 30 seconds left. Drex teases the plant to try and bait it out. Specker, he's going to go for a big run out here and try and cut it off. Drex does find he's double in the round though, and Specker finds nothing.
18 seconds remaining. Joker's going to be able to get Drax. No, Vex though immediately eliminated by Specker. And Okami have just turned things around. Boats is low as well here, so Bouncing's going to have to come up clutch. Never mind. Meets the shotgun of Joker. And going to run out of time here. It looked good at the start for Rhythm, but unfortunately, Okami were able to come back towards the end.
Most exciting thing in that round for me was seeing Ace in action. Definitely proficient in opening both the main breach as well as the breach to the rafters as well, allowing Rhythm to cut off the rotates, get in towards site, towards that default plant. And even by that stage, it was almost round over. Okami giving away a lot of early picks in that round.
I'm going to be heading over to Church and Arsenal for this upcoming round. Good start for Rhythm, though, but they're going to have to just improve the execution down the stretch when it matters the most. A's going to be picked up again through Drax and Malusi as well for Specca. So good to see the new operators being utilized already this early on into Oceanic Nationals. It's not always the case. Sometimes find themselves not so much picked early on, especially as teams want to learn them a bit better before taking them into these stages of tournaments. But a good start for Okami, of course, to be able to defend Rhythm's early attack. I wouldn't have been too surprised to see Rhythm come out the gates and maybe pick up a round or two to surprise Okami. But if Okami can sort of weather the opening storm here of Rhythm's attack, this could go towards, I don't want to say 7-0 territory, but, 7-2 or 7-3, like we kind of predicted.
Indeed, and one thing I didn't really have an opportunity to touch on in the previous round was Specca is actually playing on the Malusi. So both Malusi and Ace were released from quarantine upon the release of Shadow Legacy, which is the patch that these lads are playing on. Those Banshees placed along the floor or on the walls have a similar effect to barbed wire, but also emit a loud sound as well. That is something that the attackers will need to be mindful of. It's also bulletproof, so it will soak up a lot of utility.
Down to Church and Arsenal, it can be at times 50-50 here, depending on really the attackers and how they want to play it. Get control of the kitchen is super important, of course, on top of the B site. Becca's going to just roam around upstairs. Hit B as well for the time being. Can fall back down pretty comfortably, of course. Rhythm aren't going to have the more standard approach, which is usually CCTV and cash. They're going to have to change things up a bit here. Cutie just going to sit up on the second floor for now. Minute and a half into the round, and well, it's slow going from Rhythm for now. Not too much necessarily going on from them, but just about going to start to make the way in. It's Novax who gets the opening entry frag onto Joker, but just like that first round, immediately the refrag from Jack Dad onto Novax. I think Okami were ready for that one, and they're going to shut it down immediately. Minute 15 seconds, and it's going to be another end of round push, that's for sure.
Exactly right. Just over a minute now left in this round. Style. Doing it B style things and still roaming now. In fact, he's going to be trapped over towards Strip. There's only a single hallway connecting that back to the rest of the map. So if Rhythm decide to try and cut him off, which I'm expecting they will, he probably should be taken down, and that would effectively turn it into a 4-on-3.
45 seconds remaining of the round. Specca finds the C4 elimination onto Boats. Lebs is going to have to start to sledge up this floor now, open it up, see what sightlines he can find, and needs to find a frag sooner rather than later because they're running out of time already. And it's going to be a desperate rush in towards the end. That's going to be the diffuser down on the floor as well, too, for Okami just clean sweeping this Church Arsenal site. And Leb just rushing around, seeing what he can find, but I think it's going to be too little too late. Unless it's bouncing balls and Leb can pull up something clutch here, which is not going to be happening. Ippy was just watching and waiting. That's going to be the second round going to Okami, and they're off to a great start here for the Oceanic Nationals.
Indeed, they are. A nice little shotgun shot there from Cutie. Good start for Okami. And we mentioned earlier that this momentum could continue to develop and snowball into something bigger. And yes, Clubhouse traditionally is a little bit more defender-sided, but I mean, with these bans or lack of bans on the board, such as the Thatcher, I personally wasn't expecting it to be overly defender-sided. So Rhythm could find themselves in a little bit of trouble, especially if they cannot defeat Okami on their tertiary site.
Kitchen bedroom for what's going to be the third attempt now for
Attackers need to
Rhythm.
locate and defuse bombs.
At times they've looked good. They've been able to find opening frags, which has been a bit of a blessing, but the problem has been that they're not able to get out of it scotch-free. The quick refrags from Okami are just always there to make it at least a 4v4. And just get that feeling that the round can change as a whole. If Rhythm can get that opening frag and then pull back a bit, keep 5 up, and then take that 5v4 advantage into the next engagement.
Indeed. No.
10 seconds left before insertion. 5 seconds left.
I'm not cruel, okay, guys? I'm not cruel. You can say whatever you like, whether it's interesting, indeed,
Objective is to locate a
or
bomb.
hang on a second. I don't pick and choose here, but well, not everyone's cruel like Dev Marta.
Camera feed up and
Do you want to know what Dev Marta's crutch phase was? Do you know it?
I don't know it though. If you want to,
It wasn't even
fill us in?
it wasn't even a phrase. It was it was the Dev Marta gasp. Yeah. That's from the Dev of old.
I don't even think I can do that. So actually, you know what? That's a bit of a skill rather than a crutch, I guess.
I mean,
But what, did he just do it like someone would walk through the door and he'd be like,
yeah, he does it when we play ranked as well. It's quite off-putting.
well, not too much of a surprise really so far. That a little bit slow going early on in these rounds, but Rhythm, to their credit, have been able to hold their footing early on and keep things close and interesting. It's just the execution down the stretch. They need to find another level too. Cutie just roaming around just below CCTV and Cash. May catch someone off guard like Nevakes. If they're not careful, Joko as well, actually. So Kami are really going to catch Rhythm by surprise. And for the first time tonight, they're going to find an opening frag. It's going to be Leb who's eliminated. So if Rhythm have struggled after getting opening frags in the first 2 rounds, not sure how they're going to go. 2 down here. Cutie with a double kill. The C4 onto Drax catches him well and truly off guard. And minute and a half, they're down 2 and they're not even close to the bomb site.
Novakes does collect that diffuser that was dropped by Drex, who, as we saw earlier, was C4'd. And unfortunately now Rhythm, well and truly on the back foot. Okami are able now, if they want, to just turtle on towards site, refrag it out. Whereas Rhythm need to try and send some bodies in, but Ippy styled. Not sure why he's peeking that when they've got the man advantage, but that's going to hurt Okami significantly because now Rhythm are only really 1 trade away from being back in this round.
And they've still got plenty of time to as well. 1 minute remaining. As you said, 1 trade in the next engagement evens it up to 3-3. Joker just waiting for Bouncing to drop down that hatch. Triple kill now obtained for Cutie. Bouncing though going to be picked back up. Boats is still alive, of course. Rhythm though, this is going to be tough for them. 35 seconds left. They're outgunned, outmanned, and soon to be down 3-0 in the best of 1 series. It's not the ideal start to the Oceanic Nationals for Rhythm. 20 seconds left. Bouncing's got the diffuser, but is, well, a hair's breadth away. Boats does get Cutie. 2v3 just makes things interesting towards the end. One just hiding behind the flipped mattress here in the middle of bedroom. 10 seconds remaining though. Surely you would think Okami have got all the angles covered. Boats does get jacked at, but immediately the refrags come out from Joker and Specker. That's 3-0 in favor of Okami.
Probably what we expected in that round, particularly considering how strong the start was for the defense. Got a little bit dicey towards the end there, especially when Ippy Style gave away his life at the start. But, I mean, I'm looking at the main menu now, so I don't know what's going on.
How cool is the Shadow Legacy main menu though?
It looks pretty cool. The music's good as well. I don't know if you guys know about the music, but it's actually quite cool too.
I think that's always one of the things I look forward to with each season is you know the menu music that we get. So yeah, there's a snippet of it. I don't know what to say. We're back. Guys, please press the button. Always love the ticker down the bottom, but 3-0. This is not the start Rhythm would have liked to have seen. Of course, we sort of discussed it a little bit in the pre-show. Ways you can, of course, get off to a good start, snowball from that, and really Rhythm have done a bit of the opposite. Look, they've looked okay at the start of these matches, especially the first 2 rounds. They got the opening frags, but from then onwards, everything else just starts to fall apart for them, and Okami just keep finding a way to plug back in and take back the lead. in the rounds particularly, and now they've got the lead 3-0.
As we find ourselves back into the game, I think it would be fair to say that the rounds so far haven't been as lopsided as at least I probably expected. Rhythm have been a decent chance to try and find themselves into some of them. However, it probably hasn't quite been enough to do a whole lot of damage to Okami's confidence. None of the rounds, at least to my viewing, have looked like they have been thrown at all by Rhythm. Okami have been super strong from the start of the round, which has been setting the pace.
Would you agree that that last round, you know, for Rhythm, they lose too early on, that something in Six Masters, they would have probably capitulated and thrown that whole round away, but it was good to see a bit of a fight back being 2 down.
I mean, you have to keep fighting, especially considering, again, just how compact the format is. The second you drop your head and let it slide, you find yourself in trouble not only for this map, but for the entire season. So it's really up to the teams to continue to fight hard, because if they lift off that pedal, it only compounds for the rest of their campaign.
Back over to CCTV and Cash. Are you getting this lag, guys?
I am... what? I'm not laggy. That was a joke. That was a joke. It was pretty funny. He kind of laughed. Twitch chat probably won't be laughing. They'll probably be spamming some like cringe emote or something.
Oh.
I hope not.
Good start for Joker so far, though. Has been impressive for Okami. Minute 40 seconds remaining. Rhythm so far unable to find any entry frag. Okami have just sort of been doing the job, though, haven't they? They haven't looked completely outstanding, their best, but they're just pushing through, getting the job done right now and keeping Rhythm at bay. And the longer that this goes on, and the longer that Okami just keep finding these round wins, it gets harder and harder to see where Rhythm's going to find a round.
We can see Rhythm have established some really nice control at the bottom of Garage, but they need to try and clear Ippy Style on the rafters. And as I say that, Jack Daddy will actually be taken down. Ippy Style frags one back and is still safe, lying prone here. Diffuser dropped. He probably has seen it as well. So he's just going to hold this position, and he gets another there onto Boats. Rhythm are getting some decent control in this Garage position, but they just can't clear Ippy Style. Finally, though, bouncing from the breach will take him down, leaving it in a 3-on-3.
And that means, of course, Lab can recover the diffuser and start to push up towards CCTV as well. And they've got sightlines over at Kennel. Specker watching that, though, from inside. 35 seconds remaining. 3 versus 3. This feels like it's the closest that Rhythm has really gotten. And even then, Specker just binds the head of Leb. Bouncing's just sitting up on Kennel. 20 seconds remaining. And by losing Leb, you just feel like that's just wasted so much time. Now Novax has to, of course, go get the diffuser, pushes in from an area that already Okami should have the sightlines of. Novax does get Specker, though. Joker's watching close by. He's been almost infallible so far tonight, but Bouncing, not only does he get his teammate, he gets Joker. Whatever way you want to do it, it works. In this case, Cutie going for the shots underneath and does get Bouncing. He got the down.
Can he revive? Can he revive? He might be able to revive himself here on the Zofia, the only operator that can pick themselves up. Bouncing has managed to somehow pull this off. Cutie now needs to retake the site. Bouncing is on a slither of HP, so Cutie only needs to hit a singular shot, and he might even be able to long arm it. Can Bouncing disrupt this? I don't think he will. Cutie's going to stick it. I don't think Bouncing can get the angle. He won't be able to get there in time, and what a crazy round that was. Okami will get their 4th straight, but that was in one hell of a fashion.
Just waiting for that little... If he could wave, I'm sure he would have just waved and said, hello, thank you for that. 4-0. But that was much better from Rhythm and Bouncing just showing up there towards the end. Unfortunately, though, and kind of summarizes the way it has been for Rhythm these past few months, just unable to capitalize, guys, when it gets down to these close 50-50s encounters. Just unable to find the round win, and now it's 4-0.
And that was by far the closest Rhythm have looked at taking a round, but unfortunately Bouncing at the very end of the round before he went for the plant actually hit a team kill. I can't quite remember who onto or exactly how it occurred.
Novax.
Well, there you go. It was a messy execute, and that's probably because they didn't leave themselves a lot of time. A lot of it was spent trying to clear Garage, and even that was a tedious task in the end, and Ippy Style was again a nuisance to clear. And finally, once he was, as I mentioned, not much time left. They filtered in towards the site, and that left such a small margin for error, which Okami were able to capitalize on the end. But that's Sophia res. That would have been absolutely sick if Bouncing won that round.
Well, what do you think of that though for Bouncing? That do you think by going back over to the Kennel's wall that, especially that far out with the rappel, that it misjudged how that could have been defended? Should have maybe took a different position.
I think if he had his time again, he may have tried to play in towards Con or even out on the bulk and then vault in to try and deny it, because, of course, as we saw, he couldn't physically get the angle onto that diffuser that he would have liked. So it was a difficult position to be in. Being so low on HP, he had to try and take what he thought was the safest route. In the end, though, it was just a little bit too safe.
Still can't credit though the play. Oh, well, that's unfortunate for Bouncing. From almost the hero and now into the disaster in the very next round. Going down very early. 4-5 now in favor of Okami for this Church Arsenal defense. And considering down to the basement, down a player. 5-0, I should say, is looming. I don't think 5-4 is looming, that's for sure.
I mean, yeah, it's going to take one hell of a second half here and end to this half for Rhythm. And, I mean, being on that man down so early on a clubhouse attack hurts a lot. The only saving grace potentially is the fact that it is Zofia, and the remaining 4 operators can definitely hit and execute on towards site with the utility that is available. But having one less man on the board is going to allow some of these defenders to do some crazier roams. For example, you have Ippy Style, who again is playing off site, and if Rhythm don't have the preset drones in place, they can't really dedicate the extra man to holding it. So they need to be super, super mindful of that.
Of course, if they can get fortunate, maybe catch off one of these roamers. Jack Dad's also low, but has fallen back down to the basement. Maybe Rhythm can get back into this round. They are going to just open up kitchen though and try and utilize that hatch. So they'll spend a bit of time on that one and funnel their way in through eventually. Leb just trying to see what he can find, maybe get a bit lucky. Unable to achieve much there though in the end, at least for now. Still a lot of time though for Rhythm here, 50 seconds, but you're down a player, so the game plan does have to shift because of it, and Ippy Style is still just roaming around and may just catch someone off guard very shortly, just at the right time as well. You see it time and time again. As soon as the team wants to push in, then Ippy will turn around the corner and get one, and that will just blow up the attack right there.
Attackers have located a bomb.
So Ping 2.0 rather on perfect display there, trying to set up a floor bang for his team. Is Ippy Style on this roam? This could be huge if he manages to get that pick, but Leb, don't know how he managed to hit that flick, but that's a great pick for his team. That really turns the tables. They can drop down, try and go for the plant, but it's being shut down. Never mind, Cutie. He's left all alone to try and deny it. Once it goes down, surely the retake won't be on. He looks the wrong way. There is a player at the bot main. Manages to find the pick though, but the rest of Rhythm will be able to just retreat above and watch that diffuser.
I think Cutie's just going to have to watch this round play out. Unfortunately for Okami, they're not going to get the 7-0, that's for sure. I kind of called it as well a good minute or so ago that even though it's 4-5, if we do see Okami sort of still roaming around, there is an opportunity there potentially for Rhythm if you catch those roamers out, and exactly what Leb did. Made it 4v3, they can push straight into Arsenal, and from there they win the round. They're on the board for Oceanic Nationals, guys.
Woo! Let's get some claps in the chat. Let's go. Which means I'm wrong, because I said a 7-0 Okami, and for the longest time it was looking like that may well have been the case. I mean, if Ippy Style hit that flank, I'm pretty sure it would have been. It was a great shot from Leb to shut that down, particularly considering he's playing Sledge, so I'm assuming he's playing a longer range optic as well. And of course, that really short range, those optics are not ideal, so great play from him. Probably a little bit scary, the fact that he was able to roam around for that long and not be detected though, so hopefully Rhythm in this final attack can be a little bit more mindful of that flank.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Certainly impressive signs from Rhythm, tidbits here and there that you can take away from this so far. You'd hate to see this blow out to like 7-1 though, because And look, we spoke about it in the pre-show. What do we expect to see from Rhythm, and what's a pass mark for them? Is it going 7-3, 7-4, but having those rounds be close? I don't think anything that's 7-2 and below would be a pass mark for them, but if they can get this to like a 7-3 or a 7-4, from what I've seen so far in the first 5 rounds, guys, there's signs of life here. They've had a couple of good opening frags. They've been able to get onto site a few times, and they've had a couple of close rounds that were 50-50. So not all horrible right now for Rhythm. The question is now, can they sort of build off this last round win and go for 2 in a row?
That's exactly right, and Rhythm as well do have the odds against them taking on Okami, who did finish second in Six Masters 2020, the first stage of the global program. So Okami are a tough opponent. Let's not sell them short. If Rhythm can, as we sort of alluded to a little bit earlier in the pre-show, get a couple more rounds on the board and hopefully have a few more closer rounds like the last one and the one before that, that'll at least give them some confidence heading into the later matches of the season where they're versing some of the lower seeded teams.
Kami going to go for Church and Arsenal again. Second time's the charm. Usually the third time's the charm, so maybe Rhythm could pinch it again, make it 2-4, which just then makes things interesting going into the half. Bouncing's been impressive. A couple of the new faces that we've seen. Spec has been great too. Not much of a surprise there though, guys. 4 kills already. Some crucial picks as well. Doesn't seem to be, from what I can gather here, too much of a roam from Okami this time around. May just want to turtle it up a bit more compared to their last attempt of defending Church and Arsenal.
Leb on the sledge, going 2 and 4. He'll be again looking to create some vertical opportunities for his team to capitalize upon. Expecting him to likely play inside of Kitchen, get some of those angles above Armory, and maybe with the assistance of 2.0, some of the drones on site can assist him in finding those picks below. And I believe there actually was a defender like deep inside that west or northwest corner of Armory. Bouncer meanwhile pressuring from blue, so it looks like they're trying to squeeze Okami in towards the site, but they don't really look phased at the moment, and with a minute to go, Rhythm again needs to be mindful of time.
Still a lot of utility to be used as well from Rhythm though. Minute remaining. Typically you'd think that they just want to find that opening frag, try and get one through the floors here of Kitchen. Leb still has 2 grenades available. 47 seconds. Knows that one's just that back corner of Arsenal. Hippie style just holding over at dirt.
Ooh.
And it just seems like Okami are sitting and waiting for this inevitable push from Rhythm. Nice opening frag, and now the nades are going to go out from Leb, and you'd think, here we go guys, the push is going to come out from Rhythm. They drop down, they're going to go for the diffuser plant.
Drex needs to try and stick this. Spec is close, but he's shut down. Player in the hallway as well is collected. A great shot from Boats, and that's a really clean execute there from Rhythm. It's left up to Joker in the 1-on-3. He has full HP and a C4, so it might be possible as Novax actually will now go for the plant. So it wasn't stuck. I was a little bit early there on the call, but either way, Rhythm will claim the round. And I mean, to be completely honest, a 2-4 attack on Clubhouse isn't terrible.
Especially the fact that they won the last 2 rounds as well. So a bit of momentum, a bit of a confidence booster there for Rhythm. Okami going to get punished for choosing to go Church and Arsenal back to back and losing both of them. And as you mentioned, now though we are switching in the half, and for Rhythm's sake, they're going to be defending first. And it just feels like this opening round can really just maybe flip the entire script. Of course, it's a best of 1. So if just somewhere along the lines of Rhythm now can find that momentum and extend it here onto their defense, make it 3-4. They can just put that scoreboard pressure onto Okami, knowing that, of course, they're going to have to attack here. Have we got ourselves an early flip of the script already, guys?
Defenders, protect your bombs.
Well, it could be a funny script. The 2 things that are really standing out to me heading into this round is 1, the fact that Rhythm have elected to go to Gym Bedroom. For many teams, this is the tertiary side or the 3rd side that they'll head to, but Rhythm maybe trying to try and throw off Okami a little bit, will elect to go here first.
They can flow as well.
True. It could. It could. The second point, would you like to let me finish? Or
Attackers have located
No,
a
no,
bomb.
you go.
okay, that's fine. No, the second point I really wanted to highlight is the fact that Rhythm electing not to bring the Malusi to the board. So for almost every round that I noted, which could have been all 6 of the half, Specker was playing the Malusi, bringing those Banshees to the table for the defense. Rhythm, though, electing not to play that operator. So that could open up the aggression for Okami a little bit more, particularly late round.
Rhythm have done really well in terms of getting opening frags, and it's been their benefit so far. And you just wonder, can they continue to do that now also from the defense and make things difficult for Okami pushing in? As you said, Jim Bedrim, usually not the go-to pick for the opening attacking round, but I don't think it's going to be too bad for, obviously, Okami. They're going to enjoy this. Open it up with the Thatcher EMP, 15 seconds, disable, and, well, there's the power of Ace right there being highlighted. Look how quick he can just breach through Kennel's wall.
Clean. And I mean, Ace is obviously quite new to the scene, but we have seen him be banned a little bit, at least in the North American League, which kicked off recently. And I'm expecting eventually for OCE to maybe follow that trend a little bit more, and we might see Ace taken off board a little bit, because there we go. Not only has he got a really strong gadget, but he also has the AK-12. You can chuck on the 2 times, I want to say. I believe it's the 2 times, right? Which is really strong in these sort of mid to even long range engagements. So as I said, that as this season progresses, I'm expecting to maybe see Ace be taken off the board a little bit more, just because of how versatile he is.
Just trying to clear out those ADSs as well from Bouncing, holding rather aggressive position over at the red stairs as 3 members for Okami getting ready to make this push very soon. AP style just trying to look through Con. Losing Lab though for Rhythm just opens things up, makes them look vulnerable here on this attacking round for Okami. Specker's going to rotate away from the site though. Beauty seeing what he can find, and he finds an answer onto Boats, and that makes it now 3-5 for the attacking round of Okami. And this would be an amazing round win for them, just to wrestle back momentum away from Rhythm. But Bouncing bounces into the round and takes out Joker with a quick headshot. 40 seconds remaining. And just wonder, will that knock the Rhythm out of Okami? How many puns can I fit in tonight, guys? I don't know.
The scary thing for Okami in this round is Bouncing gets that pick. He now has full control of cache and CCTV. We saw Jack Daddy establish a drone there to watch for the run out, but that run out could come out so quickly from Bouncing that they might not be prepared, and that could in fact be the drone that has now been taken down. It is Jack Daddy. No drones left on the board. So Okami, when they go for this execute, need to be incredibly mindful of that late round flank.
Oh, Bouncing's found a second one. Specker, though, is able to get at least a refrag. Cutie's on the board too. Navax, Bouncing, as it's gone. Jack Dad gets him. Cutie gets another one. And Okami will indeed wrestle back that momentum that was temporarily on the side of Rhythm.
It was close there. I definitely thought Bouncing would have a significant impact in the latter stages of that round. He did find 2, but it wasn't quite enough to wrestle back the early sort of dominance that Okami exhibited in that round. They now are only a single round away from match point. Okami, of course. Looks like we are going to be heading back down to basement. Let's have a look at this nade. This nade was pretty big. Don't know how he hit that, but there you go.
It's all about the long division. You bounce it off the roof at this angle, it hits this position. It's just all maths. I'm not good at maths. That's why I'm not
But you're a
playing.
caster. That's why you're a caster, because none of us can do math.
That's why you don't do maths on stream. 2-5 in favor of Okami. And then
I mean, that's easy math, because
that's easy math. Well, it's not even math. It's just reading numbers on a screen. Anyone can do that. But Okami getting closer and closer to getting this map win. If they can find a couple more attacking rounds, they will, of course, take the series, as it is a best of 1. Rhythm have shown good signs, though. They haven't shown signs enough that they can steal wins, but they've shown signs, guys, that they can compete.
I highlighted before the previous round that it was a risky decision to head to that tertiary site. It doesn't look like it's paid off, and Rhythm aren't going to reattempt it. That's the beauty of Clubhouse to an extent, is that 3 out of the 4 sites now are incredibly competitive. We don't, of course, see Bar in play, but the other 3 see quite a bit of play time, and Rhythm
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
sort of take note of that, I guess, and head to basement, which for most teams would have been the first pick, if not CCTV. That said, it does look like Rhythm, with that castle on the board, will be executing a roam above, affectionately known, of course, as the SSG roam. And Okami, they would have played against this for sure, whether it be in scrims or officials. So Rhythm need to be mindful that they don't get too overconfident here.
I'm not sure Rhythm's probably in the frame of mind to get too comfortable in any matchup, let alone against a team like Okami. Even more so when you're down 2-5 already. You know they're going to obviously have a few tricks up their sleeve. Specker, though, catches Drex. There's the opening frag for Okami. And their attack has just looked like an elevated level extra than Rhythm's. And Rhythm didn't have a horrible attack, guys, but this just looks cleaner from Okami.
I mean, on the topic of opening kills and opening deaths, from what I've tracked, which hasn't been every single round, but the ones that I have, a lot of them have been Rhythm falling first, which again is just not great. That momentum is going to continue to build there as Specker gets another pick onto Novakes. And this player inside of Cash is basically doomed. Takes quite a bit of damage there, Bouncing. Still alive as Boats manages to find Specker and shut him down. But surely Epistar can find that pick. He does. Of course, no points enabled. He doesn't know that Bouncing has been down, but that foot will reveal Namozi's position, leaving it in a 2-on-4.
Barring a miracle from Boats and Leb, it should go 2-6 in favor of Okami. And I think at this point now you just push out, see if you can find a frag somewhere, and they do. Leb gets it, style 2-3. I'll use the mantra that you mentioned before, Gaz. If you find one more, you can tie it up 2-2 and things don't look as bad.
Both defenders have been able to retreat back towards site, but given it was a heavy roam, these attackers have a lot of time to work with. Cutie deep in towards site as Leb actually finds a second. So Joker now with that diffuser needs to try and get it down, and it should be a relatively safe plant considering both defenders are stuck in towards armory.
Well, this round has just flipped on its head now, courtesy of Leb and Boats. Well played so far, but can they now execute down the stretch and confirm their good mid-round work? And with 20 seconds remaining, they should get the sightlines they'd like. Cutie, though, gets his Boats, and he gets a second onto Leb. And again, it's just this theme for Rhythm. Guys, they do well in the middle of these rounds, but just can't get it to go their way at the very end.
A clean start there from Okami and a very clean end as well. We saw Ace again just highlighting how strong he is with those Salma breaches. Often in the past, we would have seen Habana flustering a little bit to try and open a hole in towards that default plant or in towards that box position. But Ace made it look easy, able to get that plant down. Cutie with a great cover. And that really was just a steamroll of that early momentum established by Specker, who he himself, I am impressed. He has been playing really well tonight. I didn't expect him to probably perform quite at this level just yet.
Certainly impressive for your opening debut of the Oceanic Nationals, and Specker just looks like he's been here for months at this level. Comfortable, slotting straight in, 6 frags. Cutie, though, with 11 has been the front runner from both teams even in this matchup today. Match point, though, now for Okami and Rhythm on the verge of dropping their first map of Oceanic Nationals. And if it does end up that 7-2 way, guys, I think many of us then predicted just about spot on.
Except for the 20% of people at home that voted for Rhythm, but that's besides the point. Well, I mean, what was it? It was like 70, was it 70 or 80%? I can't remember, but that would be, my point is, it would be pretty reflective of what the end round differential is, because if it is a 7-2, then around about 80% of those rounds went to Okami. I don't know the exact numbers because they have a caster, but it has been dominant from Okami. That's the point I'm trying to get across. And that's probably the result that we did expect heading into this one.
Can Rhythm show us anything else here tonight before we bid them farewell? Just want to see one more round from Rhythm, though. If they can win this, make it 7-3 by the end of it. It's a respectable effort, but I think these guys throughout the season, guys, are going to want to move away from that mantra of honorable losses or respectable efforts or what's a pass mark. For them, they want to find wins. They want to improve and get dubs. Obviously, it's not going to happen right away, but they're showing good signs in the opening match.
Just thinking in the back of my head, it is so strange to see this meta of the CC wall being opened so easily. The combination of the EMP, which is disabling those mute jammers, in combination with that Selma breach is just so beautiful to watch. Instead of having a Maverick painstakingly trying to trick the wall, they can just throw a device and there you go. But unfortunately for Rhythm, that means that they're on the back foot. They can't cross inside of this room anymore, so they need to try and play off the top of the stairs. There's a player there inside Cash as well, and the rafters. So I mean, so far Rhythm should be in a good position to take this round as the timer continues to tick down.
Attackers have
Well,
dropped
you've
the
jinxed
bomb
them now, haven't you?
I have. Sorry, Rhythm.
Well, it's still 5 up though, apiece, so it's not
Attackers
impossible
recovered the bomb diffuser.
for Okami to just clean sweep as they push in onto the side, get a couple opening frags, and quickly turn it into a heavy advantage. This one's certainly going slower compared to the other rounds of Okami's attack. Joker just trying to either clear out some ADSs or throughout the utility itself. The smoke stitches to block a couple of sight lines. There's a 1v1 trade. Ippy style down to bouncing. Specker gets leapt. Joker's also still down. Nevak's watching in on the smoke. Can't see anything, but as it dissipates, now gets sight lines into CCTV and again trades. It's 3v3, 30 seconds remaining. It's the battle of threes right now. Nevak's though times this right, but can't get the down. Specker's got a triple kill. Looks over to red stairs, just backs out Kennel's wall just to gain their composure. Oh, no, Specker, what are you doing? Oh no, that ain't it. You can still salvage the round. You got 16 seconds on your feet, Jack Dad. He's just testing you. Gets him back up. Needs to get the diffuser down. Oh, bouncing gets Jack Dad. Specker's just bouncing off the walls right now against bouncing balls. He's not going to win the round. Oh, he would love his time back again, guys. I've never seen anything like that.
Well, I mean, it was a clean shot. That
was a one tap.
It was
He
very
just like,
clean.
pew!
It just wasn't shooting the right person because Habana is an attacker and Specker was on the attack. So that's obviously not what you want to achieve. Okami just dragging this one out a little bit now potentially, but that said, it was actually a really clean round for Rhythm for the most part. As I sort of highlighted, the wall was open, but they did establish those key areas around the objective and were able to at least shut down the rush enough to disrupt the momentum of the attack. The diffuser got dropped, Specker was then left shooting his teammates, and it was all downhill from there.
Well, look, I don't think Rhythm are going to be complaining to pick up an extra round win,
Defenders, protect your bomb.
courtesy of Specker,
By attackers.
who was popping off that round though, guys. I mean, besides taking down your own teammate, picked up a triple kill, could have easily got that diffuser down and won the round and looked like the hero despite the comical play. I think just that round just sort of highlighted maybe the potential of Specker, what he can do, but also maybe lacking a bit of that experience just when that clutch critical moment maybe was just a little bit chaotic for him.
10 seconds left. 5 seconds
Rhythm
left
now will
before
be
insertion.
hoping to get just a couple more on the board and maybe have a sniff at overtime. Of course, if it is 6-6, these games do go to overtime, no draws, which I'm sure everyone will be cheering about. Because no one likes draws. Well, most people don't like draws. Just waiting for Joker to get this wall open. We have seen Ace be incredibly proficient on the wall as we see the ping come out. Joker will follow that up with a Salma, and that will be a nice entry point for the attack.
Yeah, I don't think I see Okami collapsing from here and allowing Rhythm to send this one to overtime. At best, maybe Rhythm get another one, and well, 7-4, 7-5 is certainly respectable from Rhythm in this. But while Okami had a messy round in the last one, they're going to look to be a bit more clinical here into this 10th round. Pushing on in, Specker into CCTV. They're going to catch bouncing balls though at the top of red stairs as Ippy style gets that opening frag. You'd think from here they should be able to overwhelm them. Although Specker is below half health and does have a gun and could potentially shoot his teammates still.
It's also an incredibly lopsided attack on this half of the map. I think it's important that Okami rotates someone towards the jacuzzi wall and maybe try and work that a little bit. That could be Specker and maybe Jack Daddy, or even Specker and Joker. And I mean, there we go. Right as I say it, they are going to rotate. So this will, in fact, disrupt the defense even further. Novakes is there potentially to try and bandit trick the wall. He hits it successfully there onto the Stalma. Can he get it on to the X-Kairos? He does. So that is very clean from the bandit. And now he'll be able to juggle those, pick them back up if required. And it's going to be tough for the attackers to clear this. They may well just give up.
I don't think they will. Yeah, I think they're going to have to just move away from that now. Really nicely done from the Vakes, and 55 seconds remaining for Okami. Are they just going to have to funnel in, go guns blazing now? Seems to be they're running out of ideas. Zippy styling com, but Leb gets Joker, 4 versus 4. So now they even lose that man advantage. They're all going to just funnel in from one direction. Specker does get Leb though. Decent frag as they push closer towards the site. Gas canister going to be used. Boats is low. A lot of this is going to have to be done now from Novakes and Drex, because Boats is illuminated by Jack Dad. I think they got this ping as well. Didn't quite get the frag, but it... I was about to say Ippy Cutie. Cutie? God, I hate that name. I think they're going to win this round, though. There's not much Novakes is going to do. Surrounded. And in the end, the GGs do come out finally in favor of Okami.
It was the result, really, I think, that we expected heading into tonight. A 7-3 in favor of the favorites, if you would. A good performance from Okami and a great performance, in fact, by Specker. His first match here in Oceanic Nationals going to plan, I would at least suspect from his point of view, 10-7. Great performance from him. Cutie as well as, I almost said it'd be Cutie. Cutie going 13-5 too. So some strong fragging potential. It's really tough. I really hope he changes that, because I swear it has been like that for way too long.
7-3, Okami are the winners, of course, best of one. So they take the quote series, I guess, against Rhythm. Not too much of a surprise, really, in the end, though, guys. I think many of us would have predicted around anywhere from 7-2 to 7-4. So ultimately, I think we got what we expected from that matchup. Good signs from Rhythm at times. Looked really good on their attack. Got some opening frags. Lacked a bit of that polish towards the end of rounds, and that was probably the reason why they weren't able to come away with as many round wins. And a couple of good signs as well from some debutants, as you said. Specker really showing good signs for Okami.
Yeah, Specker played quite well. Bouncin had a decent performance as well. He was sort of thrusted into a difficult position, having to face off against such a dominant Okami force. We saw him often roaming on the defense and entering even on the attack. So when you're taking on a full team basically of fraggers, it's going to be challenging. So I think for his first game, his first official in Oceanic Nationals, he did quite well. But Specker, as he mentioned, he had a banging performance. He played really just strong across the board. His defense on Malusi was really strong in taking down some of the players caught off guard. And then when he transitioned onto the attack with Thatcher, he was still fragging off. I think he was playing with the AR-33, so he can just chuck an angle on that. And you can frag off for days with that gun. So he felt and looked pretty comfortable.
We saw a lot of Malusi. We saw a lot of Ace as well being utilized. I think that's going to be a theme throughout most of Oceanic Nationals, which is really good to see. And I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we start seeing either of them banned out, especially Ace, who was seemingly very, very effective throughout that match on Clubhouse. Okami looked good. I think maybe not their absolute best, though. Would summarize that up for them?
Again, it's hard to measure that, I feel, being the best of one format. If there was a second map tonight, maybe we could be in a better position to say that, but it's tricky. It's a best of one. It's also against Rhythm, who finished last with only a single map win last season. So it's an expected result. I mean, maybe you could say it should have been closer to like a 7-1, 7-0, but a win this dominant, what was it, 7-3 in the end, that's still a great result. I don't think you could really say with confidence that they weren't firing at full cylinders tonight.
Speaking of debutants for our winners interviewed tonight, we have, of course, debutant from Okami LFO, Specker. Welcome on in, mate. Congratulations on the win. Firstly, though, I just want to ask you, what was going on there with the team frack onto Jack Dad?
Oh, the little on Jack Dad. Wait, what round was that?
The little one-shot pop.
Oh yeah, no,
second
he's
last
good.
round.
He's just like, oh, I think peeking out. Oh, this was on our attack. Sorry, right?
Yeah.
I didn't actually see that, to be honest, at all. Like, is that bad of me? Is that awful? I don't mean to ruin your question like off the bat. Like, I know it's my first interview, boys. And it's been too long, but I don't mean to shut you down first of all. But I didn't, see it really. I was kind of just focusing on my own thing, which is bad.
That's all right.
You were just in the moment. That's all right.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I might ask a question that you could actually probably answer here. I think
Hmm.
many of the viewers at home would know you from the past. You played for Darkside. You did then
Oh,
played
yeah.
for Fnatic. You took a break. You came back. Maybe talk to us. Why did you go for a break? What did you get up to during the break? And sort of what motivated you to sort of come back to Siege?
Practically, yeah, I was just, I guess, at my end of the road with Fnatic. So I decided to, call it practically there. And I had a job opportunity, fortunately working over in a ski resort called Niseko in Japan. And I'm a big fan of snowboarding. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go for it because I've always wanted to do it. And I actually missed out on a few seasons due to Siege. But yeah, practically came back early due to Corona and decided to pick up the mouse just to, I guess, kill some time and have some fun with the old boys and slowly but surely climb our way to the top. So yeah.
Cool. And I mean, heading into tonight, I was a little bit afraid that maybe you might not slot into the meta, especially considering how much it has changed since your last official. How do you think you sort of slotted in tonight? Because from our point of view, the leaderboard as well seemed to be pretty reflective of a good performance.
Yeah, leaderboard aside, I definitely had some rounds where I knew I had zero impact. I was literally running around just absolutely doing nothing. I think Thatch on our first attack of doing their gym hold, I was a bit all over the shop, didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I ended up pushing up main, and we went for like a really last second kind of push that thankfully works out, and we won off practically gun skill. But my role on the team at the moment is IGL, so I really want to shift, I guess, having a lot more in-game knowledge would be what I'm aiming for to do, practically off the bat. I haven't really played too much, just to give you context. I've practically hung up the mouse quite literally until about a month ago. So I'm starting to kind of get back into it, and thankfully through this ranked season, it's a bit more enjoyable. So the game's actually, a bit more fun, which I think it's actually at a better place now than it was when I left in regards to health. There's a lot of diversity. Some holds are, pretty fun diverse, and if sound actually it was like how it is on TTS, it'll be amazing. But yeah, look, we're just gonna slowly get better, and that's practically it. Yeah, I just want to shift into more so being able to confidently lead everyone and understand fully what I'm talking about, knowing where I can utilize my players more so where I can utilize myself, because I'm a very strong gunner in certain situations. So maximizing your chances of winning gunfights, putting yourself in better positions practically is what I'm going to be looking at doing. So slowly but surely we'll be getting there. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think you've covered most of it there, mate. Wish you the best of luck for the season. You guys looked amazing, and hopefully you can have the lofty heights that the team had at the end of Six Masters.
Perfect. Thank you so much, gentlemen, and we'll hopefully be up there.
Awesome. I don't know about you guys, but if I team kill someone, I probably know I've done it. I think Specker's telling a fib there. No,
I mean, to be honest, it was a pretty hectic point in the round, but I don't know how he forgot it, especially considering it was pretty close to the end of the map. But
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
all right. We'll forgive him for that one. But look, good signs from Specker, good signs from Okami, and showing us the goods. I still think that for them, there's probably an extra gear, maybe 2 gears that they can go to and try and compete. I mean, the lofty heights for them would be competing against the likes of Wildcard by the end of Oceanic Nationals.
yeah, the one thing that really stood out to me from that interview is the fact that Specker's actually sort of taken on that IGL role. So the more experience he actually gets back into the game, because as we heard earlier, he's only just started playing again for a month. Once that momentum builds, that confidence builds, being an IGL with that confidence can just transfer to the rest of the team. So we should see the whole team elevate if Specker can get to that level that he's aiming for.
Well, so, yeah, 100% agree with you guys. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we got more matches still to be played, so don't go anywhere.
Attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped. Attackers are active.